Brakti Yahweh, Brakti Yahushai, Brakti Yahweh, Brakti Yahushai, Brakti Yahweh, Brakti Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Shachadash. Belongs to the apostles and the elders and great most true well. Salutations to the hopeful elect out there. You Akim to Sadakim that do this thing in the utmost truth and sincerity. On the Pre-Shema, this week's topic, we're going to be speaking about deep fake and AI. Deep fake and AI. And this was inspired by, there's a YouTube channel called The Unreal Keanu Reeves, right? And when I watched it, it's a bunch of shorts. I thought it was the actor Keanu Reeves. And it wasn't until I read the comments that it was just like, I wonder what the real Keanu thinks of this. And it made me do some investigating, like, this is not the real Keanu Reeves? Then I had to go back to the earlier videos where the technology wasn't as crisp. I was like, okay, they CGI his head, but the most recent videos, I was completely, like, fooled. Like, holy shit, like, I thought this was Keanu Reeves, man. And the channel in the description says this is the official deepfake of Keanu Reeves. So this deepfake technology, using a body double and CGIing a face on, has gone extremely far. Now, you know, 1 Corinthians 2:11 tells us not to be ignorant of Satan's devices. This is the device right here. This is the device you can use to manipulate and lie. You know what I'm saying? You could artificially, they already got data recording of our voices. They got tons of videos of us. They got selfies of us recording us. At any time, the so-called white man could deepfake a scenario, use AI and deepfake to try to trick another brother. We have to be extremely circumspect, as the scripture says, you know, which is to constantly look around and just examine everything, man. With this world, you don't know what the hell is real sometimes, man. That shit was unbelievable. And it's all tying in with prophecies. You know, Daniel's the 12th chapter, the 4th verse, speaking about knowledge increasing. This is some higher level technology, and this is what's displayed to the public. You could publicly see this on YouTube or in some of your movies you go to, you know, when they so-called DH people in movies. But if this is what's being given to the public, you can only imagine what the military has in secret. You know what I mean? If you watch that movie, Mission Impossible, they got masks that they put on to make you look just like the other person. You know, they got hologram things you put it on, and it gives you the hologram of somebody else's face. It's a bunch of shit the so-called white man got out there, and it also made me think about Revelations 2:10, when it says that this devil is going to cast some of us into prison and give us tribulation 10 days, you know, rightfully so, for refusing the mark of the beast, all right? But I wouldn't rule out them framing brothers, you know? That's what devil means, the accuser of a brethren, you know? I wouldn't rule that out for so-called white men to accuse brothers, chop up clips, do all types of shit to get us locked up. Because if you think about it, pursuant to the book of Romans, the 13th chapter, we obey the powers that be. We understand that the powers that be are ordained to the Most High. So brothers are pretty much living the life of a law-abiding citizen, you know, so to speak, right? So I'm thinking, like, man, like, what can they really put on brothers, you know? And then I saw that deepfake videos. I'm like, man, that is not out the realm of possibility. And now, concerning the second part of the lesson, AI, artificial intelligence, Google has something called Google DeepMind, but they also have another thing. Real quickly on Google DeepMind, they had this AI, artificial intelligence, didn't teach you how to play chess, nothing, just how to, the basic rules of chess actually, just how to play with itself. And it was able to beat the number one chess engine, Stockfish, number one chess engine in the world. And it was the way it was playing, it was almost playing like an angel. If brothers are familiar with chess, watch that video. Google DeepMind versus Stockfish. Shit is crazy. But they had another program Google works on, AI, where they had people talking on the phone what they believe are operators. But the way they had the AI mimicking how humans would speak and everything, it was tricking people. I mean, the audience was laughing and clapping, But that's some really nefarious shit, man. You know, you think you're talking to someone, they done nailed all your mannerisms down, when you pause, all that type of shit, everything down. Come to find out, you're talking to a robot. So, this shit is like really, it's heavy, man. It's heavy. The so-called white man could definitely weaponize that against brothers, man. You know, to try to trick and circumvent brothers. So, hey, man, we got to pray through the Yahweh B'Shem Yahshua to give us that Revelation 13 and 8, that spiritual eyesight to just see through the darkness, you know? Not take anything for granted, you know? This man is a forger of lies and wickedness and deceit, you know, and subtlety. You concoct all that together in one pot, one big gumbo. That's the devil. That's this devil. That's the so-called white man. You know, they even had this thing called Chasing Hitler, and it was pretty much like a lot of people saying, "Nah, man, that dude's still alive." You know, because they thought they had the skull. The Russians said they had the skull of Hitler and shit. Come to find out, it was a woman. So they could tell a lie so much that people start to believe it. And as we approach the end, they're gonna demonize brothers. I wouldn't rule out them using deep fake against us, AI, all types of anything to, you know, to put us in prisons and to slander us. You see, that's the times we're approaching. This truth is deadly serious, man. This thing is deadly serious. This thing is not a game. You know, it's not to be played with. And there's nothing new in the sun. And the prophets of old have been persecuted falsely. You know, like you got during the time of Nero. You know, you burned down Rome, blamed it on the so-called Christians, all right, or the Mashiachites, the ones that followed Yahweh Shah. So there's nothing for these devils to stage false attacks. It's called PSYOP, psychological operations. Stage catastrophes, states, and then pin it on the Israelites. And you bird brain, that's what Apostle Tahal would say, you bird brain Negroes, you bird brain Israelites are feeding them when you hold camp with an AK-47 or at the gun range and all that type of shit. You just giving the so-called white man more ammo with that one, you know. First of all, the scriptures tell us that the weapons of our warfare are carnal, man. If a brother has a firearm to defend himself, that's one thing, but to go out there and make it look like, you know, that's our salvation and that, you know, that could be to our detriment, you know. So-called white man is extremely crafty, man. And you got to be on your P's and your Q's with this devil, man. Okay? So scriptures say, trust in no man. We're going to approach some times, brothers, we're going to be approaching some times where, man, you know, it's going to be like, that scene in The Last of Us. The Last of Us is a zombie video game when the guy was grabbing his stomach saying, help me, I'm sick. And the little girl was like, oh, we should help him. And the man was like, he ain't sick. And just put the pedal to the gas and just tried to run his ass over. Next thing you know, the dude started shooting at him. So, shit, man. Times to come, it's gonna feel sci-fi like a movie. But thankfully, Isaiah 33:6, man, our minds are prepped. You know, wisdom and knowledge is gonna keep us stable, because the shit that's happening is gonna catch most people off guard, because they can't fathom that society is really gone this bad. It's really gone down some goddamn road, children and men, walk of the dead type scenario. So they're gonna be bugged out, but us, we're gonna be stable. We're gonna understand. You know, like this is what was written about in the Bible, and Isaiah 55:11. The words of the Heavenly Father don't go out there. So these things have to come to pass. You see. But right now, until then, what the Lord is doing is chastising us, having us go through hell. Really just building us up for really harder times, you know? That's how come, brothers, we have to be able to endure in these times, because when Jacob's troubles hit, pursuant to, you know, Daniel's 12:1, a time like that's never been seen before, we have to be extremely mentally fortified, man. So, all right, with that, I'm going to give all praises to Yahweh, B'Hashem Yahweh Shah, B'Hashem Chakodash, that belongs to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, which you well. Salutations to the hopeful elect out there. You Akim to Sadakim that do this thing there most truth and sincerity. Shalom.